It's a beautiful day outside, so I thought I would shoot this outside, and want to thank you for sharing a piece of your day with me. So we've wrapped up Genesis, and we are now going to go into the story that really talks about how Charlton Heston saved the Jews from their slavery in the land of Egypt. If you're too young to know who Charlton Heston is, please don't comment and tell me. No, it's the story of Moses, of course. And before we get into the birth and life of Moses, there's actually here in chapter 1, there's an interesting little snippet about these two midwives whose names are Shiphrah and Puah. At least that's what I'm guessing it's how it's pronounced. I'm just giving you my best guess. But they were the midwives who would deliver the Hebrew babies, and by this point, 400. Traditionally we believe that it was 430 years later. So the focus of the story has gone from this, this small, just this family, the story just about the family of Jacob, to this nation. They have grown and reproduced, and it's a whole different story now. And so a new Pharaoh comes into power, and the Pharaoh is concerned. Obviously, there's all these people out there that he didn't remember. He didn't consider anything that Joseph had done in the past, and he just saw them as a threat, basically. So he begins to tell the midwives that if the Hebrew women have a baby boy, that the midwives should kill them. And the midwives refused to do that, and so it's really it's a great illustration of how they chose to disobey the law of the land to obey God's law. And in our modern day and age, we probably don't encounter anything quite that egregious where it is, this direct, kill people. But I'm willing to bet that in your life there's rules about your work, for example, where you're not allowed to talk about God, or with certain people that they won't talk about God, or whatever. But I think that you will, if you look, you'll see that there's parts of your life where you have to choose between obeying God's law and obeying man's law. And so my question is for you, which one are you going to obey? In this case, Shiphrah and Puah obeyed God's law, and so God was kind to the midwives, and the people increased and became even more numerous. And because the midwives feared God, he gave them families of their own. And it reminds me of when Jesus talks about, render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, but render unto God what is God's. I think that, we do need to make sure that we are obeying the laws of the land, as long as they don't contradict God's laws.